Chapter 26. Chapter 26 is a beast. It's like 50 pages long. Um, one of the bigger chapters for sure. So chapter 26, a lot happens. The Jodes have left Weed Patch in search of work, and they find work, which is it's a mixed blessing. So they go to Hooper Ranch. They drive to Hooper Ranch. Um, Hooper Ranch is in direct contrast to Weed Patch. If you look at the living conditions, at Weed Patch, everyone was kind of together, and there were committees, and people were encouraged to socialize and kind of work together. Weed or Hooper Ranch is the opposite. People are to stay in their cabins when they are not working. People are not to talk to the other campers or other workers. Um, you're not really supposed to be out of your cabin for any reason. They're really on lockdown. The working conditions are tough. Picking peaches all day is a difficult job. Your hands are constantly like above your head, which is really gets in your back. And I think it's Pa or Uncle John makes mention of how it really hurts his lower back. Not only that, when they're picking peaches, they have to be very careful because peaches bruise easily, and any damaged peaches will not be accepted. They'll be thrown back. So they're trying to fill up these wooden boxes to get like a nickel a box. I believe they have to move 1 ton. This is something Jim Casey says later. You have to pick and carry 1 ton of peaches to make $1. Um, so Hooper Ranch work conditions, the lifestyle is very difficult. The store does not accept credit. In fact, Ma has an interaction with the storekeeper where she wants to buy just a little bit of sugar, and she only has a little bit of money left, and they will not accept an advance on the wages because they've got money coming in. So Ma's like, "Hey, we're gonna have money coming in today. Can I just get like a dime advance? Get a dime's worth of sugar?" And the guys know. And there's this whole like very tense interaction where eventually the man takes the dime out of his own pocket to pay for Ma's sugar. So it's a very hostile. Hooper Ranch is a hostile environment. Um, the people are, again, we went from Weed Patch, which was a breath of fresh air. Ma even said she felt like people again. They had a chance to be treated like human beings, and we're back to Hooper Ranch, where they again are hunted animals. Everyone else, again, in terms of other people, is very hostile. Hey, but we find Jim Casey again. He's back, and he is in charge of a strike. Very cool. Casey says it's need that makes trouble. Now, do you agree? I don't know. I would say yes, because when people need stuff, and I'm not just saying want makes trouble sometimes too. I'm not saying like you want a TV so you steal it. I'm talking about need. When people's families are starving, their children are starving, some of them are dying because they are starving to death. People are going to steal. People are going to steal food. Is that right? No, it's not. But people are still going to do it. Is there anything not need based that causes trouble? Yeah, people want stuff, jealousy, things like that. You want a bigger TV, so you steal one. You steal a TV. I wanted a bigger one. You don't need that. That's not necessary for life. No one's going to die if you don't have a bigger TV. Again, this is chapter 14 in action. We see those who fear change. And the reason Hooper's keeping everyone apart is because, well, first off, he has a strike outside. The Jodes had to drive through it. They didn't know what was happening. It's this really weird thing. So all of the workers are striking. Hooper is keeping everyone separate because he doesn't want the workers on the inside striking too, because then he'd have a strike here and there, and then he's totally locked down. And again, the reason people are striking, and Jim Casey outlines this, they come in and you get paid a wage, and the wage is acceptable. It's like, oh man, 5 cents for a box of peaches. That's not great, but we can eat. We can buy food. We can eat off of that. But then the next day, after Hooper Ranch gets all their employees in, they're all locked in there. They drop the wage to 2.5 cents a box. Now we're at the point where we can't make enough money to feed ourselves, especially not enough to replace the calories we're burning to work. So you're just dying and starving to death a little bit slower at 2.5 cents a box. And again, the store too, I want to go back to that. It's a convenience store, so you pay like a convenience fee. Things are a little bit more expensive than they would be in town, but these people can't leave. If they leave, they're out of work because Hooper's not letting people come and go because of the strike out front. So it's a pretty difficult situation at Hooper Ranch. It's a great example of exactly what was wrong with the era and with the time period. Let's keep going here. So Tom sneaks out because he wants to see what's going on with all these people. When they first come in, they thought it was a car accident or something because they'd never seen anything like this. So Tom, of course, sneaks out because that's what Tom does. He's not much of a rule follower. He finds Jim Casey, which is cool. We haven't seen him since he got arrested. Arrested for Tom's sins, if you remember from earlier in the book. So he meets Jim Casey. Jim Casey unloads basically the rest of his oversoul philosophy to Tom. He's kind of like handing the torch to Tom. Tom is been his disciple, is now going to be a leader. Once Jim Casey has been killed, which is what happened next. Spoiler alert, Jim Casey dies. So some of the deputies, remember, they're not real like sheriffs, they're not real police officers, they're basically deputized thugs, come down to get the leader. The leader's Jim Casey. He's the mouthpiece for this strike. So he comes down, and a lot happens really fast. So these guys come down, they threaten him. Jim Casey says, "You don't know what you're doing. You're starving women and children." Boom! He's blasted with a pick handle across the head. It kills him instantly, crushes his skull. Now, in turn, this all happens very fast. He's killed, just drops dead in the river right there. Tom wrestles with the guy to take the pick handle away. Tom kills that guy. Just swing, boom, knocks it out of the park. In the meantime, there's another man taking a swing at Tom, and it's kind of like a foul tip. He hits Tom across the face, and he cuts his face. So he doesn't kill Tom, but he hurts him pretty bad. And in the process, Tom gets away. So a lot has happened here. Jim Casey has been murdered in cold blood. Tom, in turn, has killed a man. Not necessarily in cold blood. Again, with Tom, he's never killed a man in cold blood, but it's another self-defense killing. He's killing. If he hadn't killed that man, those guys would have killed him. I mean, that's for sure. They came down and killed Jim Casey without question. They didn't even think about it. There was no lock him up. There was no arrest him. They just straight came down and murdered him. They would have murdered Tom too because there's no witnesses. So in the meantime, Tom gets away. The man who swung and missed, he knows that Tom's going to have a big something wrong with his face. So they're going to be looking for a guy that has something wrong with his face. Meanwhile, Tom sneaks back into Hooper Ranch. Again, Tom's like a mixed blessing. He's a burden, but he also is the leader of the family and he helps. So now at this point, Tom again is a burden. He has to hide. So they have to hide him so that no one sees this big, festering gash on his face. Ma, of course, is super upset with all of this. She says we've lost the boundary of the land and the family. This is significant because it just shows that, at the beginning of the book or maybe before the book, the Joad family, they knew what they did. They farmed their 40 acres. They were sharecroppers. They raised a family. They were self-sufficient. They had all their jobs and all their tasks set out for them. They knew who they were and they knew what they did and they fit in to that life. But now they're hunted animals. This is nothing like their former life. They don't fit in anymore. Nothing feels right to them. Rosa Sharon constantly complaining about her baby. She's so annoying with the baby. Now, I say she's so annoying. Keep in mind, she does have genuine concerns. She's not receiving proper nutrition for her baby, which is important to get proper nutrition when you're pregnant. But at the same time, it's not like the family's holding out on her. They have children too, that aren't getting proper nutrition. None of them are getting proper nutrition. So she's always like, "Oh my God, I need some milk for the baby," and it's they don't have any money. They don't have anything else to give her. If they did, they would. They absolutely would love to give her those things, but they can't. And all she really does is just whine and complain, and she's super annoying. Again, just with her and Connie's in the back of the truck thing that happened, she's very selfish, immature, but also kind of genuine. It's an underlying genuine concern, but she just comes off as selfish and immature for the entire book. I mean, really. Is Tom sorry about what he did to Casey's assailant? No, and he shouldn't be because he would have died too. If he hadn't killed that man and gotten away, he would have been murdered as well. This is a little tie back to chapter 4. Gives you a funny feeling to be hunted like. I'm getting mean. This is Ma saying this. This is directly related to Muley in chapter 6, or chapter 6, not chapter 4. If you remember Muley, the graveyard ghost, he was hunted. And I believe I said back then that Muley was going to foreshadow what happened to the Joad family. Loss of dignity, constantly being on the run, being hunted, not really fitting into the grand scheme of things anymore, definitely out of sorts. Tom's plan is to hide. They're going to smuggle him out of Hooper Ranch in a mattress. They're going to lie and just say, it's just some other, some pale-faced guy. Like Al tells the guard to lie in order to get them out, claiming they have work elsewhere when they don't. They're just trying to escape before someone finds Tom, because they're coming door to door looking for people. They're looking for the guy with the big gash on his face. So they escape and they head north with Tom hidden under some mattresses. Now, once we get north, Tom is going to have to remain hidden because there are going to be wanted posters. People are looking for him. So it's a dangerous time for him. And now he can't work either. He's just kind of like, again, he's just a burden at this point because he put himself in a bad position, just like he's done before, and got himself into trouble. Chapter 27, the intercalary chapter. In fact, let me double check here. Chapter 28 is next. So we're going to finish the video on 27. I'll pick up again with 28. Chapter 27 is an intercalary chapter. It talks about the life as a cotton picker, having to buy your bag, basically cheating the scales by putting clumps of mud or stones in your bag. The scales are rigged to cheat the people. It's like everyone's cheating each other, which in the end kind of evens out a little bit. Making cotton, it's a tough job. But you have to work fast. And if you work hard and you work fast, you can make a lot of money, which is great. Like, it's actually like not a terrible job for them, especially when we get to chapter 28 with the Joads. They have experience chopping cotton, so they know what to do. And Pa likes it. It's a good job for him and Uncle John. So we'll finish up this video here and get to chapter 28 in just a moment.